At this time, we'd like to recognize State Representative Fred Hawkins for a presentation. It's good to have you here, Mr. Hawkins.
Thank you. It's good to be home. Let me just say that. Tallahassee is much colder, but we do enjoy serving up there. I'd be remiss if I didn't start by giving my personal thanks to you, Chief. We know our job is always public safety first, but you lived that for many years. I want to thank you for your dedication to the city, your support in times you and I have talked, and most of all for your friendship, so thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, City Manager, City Attorney, and staff. It's an honor to be here in front of you tonight. I wanted to give you an update a little bit of what took place in session last time. I know we have our delegation meetings and we talk about the wants and needs of the community, and we're addressing that, but there's some things we did that I think affect all of us Floridians, and especially here in St. Cloud, some of them directly. So I'd like to start off by saying I think we live in the greatest state in the United States with the greatest leadership in our governor, Governor Ron DeSantis. It's an honor to serve with him and the House leadership and represent you and the citizens of the city of St. Cloud. Last session, we seized bold opportunities, anticipated tomorrow's risks, and transformed the lives of Floridians and future generations. We passed legislation that protected Florida's institutions and industries from foreign espionage and intellectual property theft. This keeps Florida competitive on the national stage. We had many dysfunctional and fragmented workforce programs that were shattered and not providing the opportunities they were meant to do. The REACH Act reborn these programs to help students, job seekers, and workers to be able to secure the jobs that will be needed tomorrow and in the future, and of course with a much higher wage. One thing I'm very proud of is we passed the Portraits and Patriotism Act because we wanted the next generation of Floridians to truly understand what it means to live in a free society. If I haven't talked to you, I am in the education silo in the Florida House. I've been told, on more education committees than any other House member. But that said, I'm very proud of being the co-sponsor for the New World Reading Initiative. And to quote our speaker, if a child can read, they can learn. This program is the first statewide free book delivery program to struggling children in kindergarten through 5th grade. I was honored to be selected by Speaker Sprouse to represent the Florida House on the Closing the Achievement Gap Task Force. Our report is finished and will be used to make recommendations to close the educational achievement gap between males and females. In some areas, this gap is almost 70%, so we need to take care of that. Also in education, we passed the most comprehensive Parent Bill of Rights legislation in the nation. I believe parents should be in control of their students' education and all the decisions that go along with it. Impacts of flooding and sea level rise affect every corner of the state. You may be asking, why would I bring this up here tonight in St. Cloud when we're so interior to our coastlines? But the resiliency plan we passed is the most aggressive ever. Not only does this place funding in the form of infrastructure to combat flooding issues and to address insurance issues as well. No longer should interior residents be paying higher insurance costs to make up for those that live in the coastal areas and areas that are prone to flooding. Wrapping up some of the major highlights of action taken in the last session, I was happy to support and testify during the discussion of the Right to Farm Act. This act protects our agricultural community against frivolous lawsuits, strengthens the best land management practices, and of course reinsures ag tourism. I built on the positive job my predecessor, Representative Mike LaRosa, had done for you. While he ran the same appropriations request for the Seaplane Base that you had requested in the past, it was successfully approved by this session and by the Florida House Appropriations, and of course signed by Governor DeSantis as part of the budget. Our House team was also successful in getting funding for the Puerto Rican legal aid services, and we also obtained funding for Grace Landing related to those that are aging out of foster care. Both of these appropriations we are running again this year. We fought hard and to keep millions of dollars in compression funding for the Osceola School District, and we were successful. My personal bill that I was very proud of, I passed a CPR bill that has been called by ABC News probably the most life-saving legislation to ever pass the Florida House in legislative history. This places CPR education back in our high schools. We passed legislation related to Cambridge education format and passed through committees but didn't get it all the way through the House, elementary computer science education bill, which we are running again this year. Looking ahead, we have worked hard with your staff and we're asked to submit some appropriations, most notably for Chisholm Park renovations and improvements. And additionally, we submitted appropriations in combination with the city and county to help construct an access dock at Lake Runnymede so they can get in and clean that up. And we're asking for appropriations to do that work as well. The environment and lake quality will always be a priority of mine, the Florida House, and of course, Governor DeSantis. I would like in the next session to work with MetroPlan to go after matching funds for the widening of Canoe Creek Rd from 192 to Deer Run. As you're aware, when I was a commissioner, I argued and successfully got the county commission to put a light up at that dangerous intersection at Deer Run. And while that was quickly done, I think more needs to be done for that road. We'd like to see that widened and working with all of you. I'd also like to seek funding improvements for the eastern portion of 10th Street, adding turn lanes and sidewalks. Again, working with you and the county, let's get this and make sure it's in MetroPlan's 5-year plan, and we can do this with matching dollars. So I'm asking for the council's help with that. Looking forward to next session, we will continue to focus on education, healthcare, infrastructure, keeping Florida open and the economy thriving, protect agriculture, the environment, and always looking out for our frontline and essential workers. I have bills and appropriations now going through the process in just about all these areas. Today, it's ironic that I'm in front of you because the governor released his budget. It's called the Freedom First budget. It's about $97.6 billion, a little less than what we passed last year. But it includes some of the highlights, a $1 billion gas tax cut, which is about 25 cents on the gallon for all of us. He asked for $650 million in increase to teacher salaries and incentives. We have no increase in college tuition. And by the way, Florida is #1 in colleges, and we have the lowest tuition ranked by Forbes magazine. Councilman Urban, I'm sorry to say the Gators are #5. We will have a friendly bet because Gator here and UCF. So, no cuts, which I'm very glad to hear, to Bright Future scholarships. Increase to Florida's Rural Lands Program, which our ag community's been asking for years. $1,000 bonuses to all of our first responders. Manatee protection, a raise for all the state employees, and a significant raise for our corrections officers, and expansion of the sales tax holidays, and much, much more. And I can tell you, everything I mentioned, I will be supporting. I stand for it, and I think it is a great budget, and I look forward to passing it. At this time, I'm open to any questions you may have.
Do we have any questions? Well, I certainly want to thank you for your leadership and what you've done to help make a difference in our own city and county here, and we look forward to you continuing to make a difference in our state as well as in our county through your leadership. Thank you for all you do.